Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and always positive Jay.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another edition of the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network, partnered with LPV Productions. And we always have to thank our friends at Vector Technical. They get the right person in the right job the first time. Guys, I had to go to Lowe's to fix some of the Christmas lights outside. And I'm telling you, the signs outside, there are jobs, people. If you're looking for them, our friends over at Vector Technical, they will get you in the right job the first time. I have no idea how to even start this tonight because it just seems like every single day that the Browns aren't playing, there's more.
Kevin, I got breaking news here.
Yeah.
I cannot do the show. I'm on the IR.
Okay.
I'll see
Well,
you guys later.
All right. Well,
I was just in 2 seconds ago. I pulled a terrible quad. It's been bad. It's bad.
It just,
no, in all seriousness, Kevin, what is going on here? It's like our team is falling apart.
The only thing that's holding it together is Joe Flacco fever, and Kevin Stefanski. I guess they're one and the same. If you try to piece them together, if you overlay both faces, they look like each other.
I think you got to give a lot of credit to the tape on Miles' shoulder too.
Yeah,
that is some quality tape.
That is some quality tape.
And we have to get Denzel Ward back this week. Like, I have no idea what happened from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when he's back at practice to not being able to go on Sunday. I mean, I would think that would be a game. If he was able to go, you would put him in. And if you were trying to be cautious with him, it'd be the Bears game. Not saying that the Bears are any slouch by any stretch of the imagination, guys. But, I mean, they have won 3 of their last 4. They're 5-8. Somehow they are in the hunt in the NFC playoffs. That just shows you the gauntlet that is the AFC. You have all 3 AFC North teams in the playoff picture. There's 5 or 6, 7-6 teams. Boy, this Chicago Bears game, when we thought, okay, like, this is not a good team, we should be able to win this, not really worried about it for necessary playoff seeding and everything. This is a game the Browns have to get.
Oh, it's definitely, to me, every game's a must win at this point. Just how I feel about it. Like, you want to win your division, and you know the Ravens got a tough schedule, so every game counts, and winning that division would be huge. If you don't, you're still with that kind of mentality, you're going to secure and save that playoff wild card spot you got right now. But I don't know if you saw. I seen Hayden Grove. He tweeted out like all the injuries the Browns had, and I had quote tweeted him with the GIF. And I wish I was as good as some people. I can't like Photoshop things on stuff. Otherwise, I would have Photoshopped Kevin Stefanski's face over it's the Spider-Man movie where the boat gets split in half and he puts all this stuff together and then he's holding it and he's holding it. And I'm like, I feel like that's Kevin Stefanski right now. He's somehow, this dude is holding this ship together afloat. I mean, we need Iron Man to come in here and help us out somewhere, somehow, Kevin, and just like put it all back together real quick and get us all together. But Iron Man's not coming, Kevin.
And we got a comment here from Chubba Wubba Hub 24. It says, at this rate, by week 17, we'll be a team of third stringers. We're screwed come playoff time. I kind of agree with that one.
I don't know, man. We're like the replacements, man. Well, pretty soon Keanu Reeves going to be playing quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, knock on wood, no one else gets injured. I mean, we may have Keanu Reeves. I mean, come on, Joe Flacco, 3 weeks ago, he was sitting at home watching the game on his couch, on his mom's couch.
Dude, look how many people we had out last week. And we beat Jacksonville, and they're a very good team. This team has the next man up mentality. And are we going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. Is it possible? Like, I'm not really afraid of any team. I think we could beat any team. We've proven that. We beat like what was considered the best team at the time 3 different times this year between Baltimore, Cincinnati, and 49ers. and Jacksonville is supposed to be a hot team right now. We just beat them with our fourth string quarterback, and how many tackles have gone out. We've no Nick Chubb all year, and we just keep putting it together. Like Stefanski is, like everyone's saying, local radio right now. He is putting on a clinic for coaching. It's remarkable what he's really doing. And I'm getting texts, and this is totally messing me up from Dave right now. I'm like, and I'm talking to him like, and ADD's kicking it.
Yeah. Listen, let's go back though, and look at these injuries. So yeah, there's a long list of them, but just this week, there's one that's not official, but basically we have seen reports of 5 in the last 36 hours. You had DeJuan Jones, who's not able to return. Jedrick Wills has to go on season-ending IR because his knee needed surgery. It wasn't healing the way that they initially examined it to be. Then you have Grant Delpit. Yeah, he could come back for the playoffs, but he's still missing the next 4 games, and you're already depleted in your secondary. You have Maurice Hurst, played great along that defensive line. One of the unsung heroes. It's not going to go down with a lot of stats this year, but that was a great signing by Andrew Berry and great utilization, of course, by a master of the defensive line, that is Jim Schwartz, with Maurice Hurst to have an impact on this team. And then Obo Okoronkwo, who I would argue, and this isn't a shot at Zadarius Smith, because Zadarius Smith has done a lot this year that is not going to go into a stat sheet.
Say right now.
What are you going to say?
He's been the second best pass rusher next to Myles Garrett.
Yeah, he has been what everybody thought Zadarius Smith was brought here to do. Obo kind of has been that for us. Now, again, that's not a shot at Zadarius Smith, because Zadarius Smith doesn't have the sack numbers to back up how much pressure he's getting off the edge, how much work he is doing along with Myles Garrett in the defensive front to stop the run. Like tackles.
If Myles Garrett as fast as he is, Zadarius Smith would have a lot of sacks.
Tackles, sacks. These are all stats that are going to go into a stat book, but there's so much more to the game of football and the nuances of the trenches that Zadarius Smith, like, I hear his name mentioned, even if he's not tackling guys to the ground, because of the effort that he's giving, knowing that,
dude.
And that's what we needed on this team. We needed, I guess I'll use the Haslam line, we needed a lot of adults in the room on this team. We talked about veteran leadership in the offseason. We have gotten that. The only problem is all the injuries. I know everybody wants to immediately go to the card, like blaming the doctors and the medical staff, and like, now this is the problem with the Browns. Like, not everything has to be negative. Unfortunately, this is a very physical game, and the Browns are not the only team in the NFL dealing with double-digit injured reserve. Now, are we the team that's in the best position? That would be shooting from the hip if I said we're in the best position of playoff standing and stuff like that. But we're up there. We're one of the few. Like, you don't go through a season like this and you're not sitting at 8-5 with an outside, and I mean outside, but yes, Harry and Lloyd, there is a chance the Browns have an outside shot at the number 1 seed still. Like, they're still in the running for seed positioning and the AFC North. Is it a stretch?
How awesome is that? We're in the middle of December, and that's what we're talking about. Having the possibility of having the number 1 seed, and look at all those guys ahead of us. What do they have in common, Kevin, that we don't? They have quarterbacks that have lasted. They have the same quarterback.
Yeah.
We have on our 4th quarterback, and we're still doing this. I'm going to say it again, dude. I've said this before on the show. This season is so much more than this season. And I believe this season is going to build for our future like no other season has done. I think you're watching the Browns culture be built like right in front of our eyes. And I'm just here to enjoy it at this point.
And that's what we've been looking for so long. We thought in 2020, we were about ready to say, and I think do we jump the gun or what was it? Stefanski was building a culture here. Well, he was building a culture, and it sucks to then, have an 8-9 season, then a 7-10 season. But the quarterback position has been the most important. And with all of the injuries at just that position, you got the right guy at the right time. So, Jay, I ask you, and anybody that's tuning in right now, we appreciate you. If you're on Twitter at VTL_pod, on YouTube at Voiceland Podcast, same thing on Facebook. Make sure to comment in the thread. We'll try to go around to as many of those as we can. Still trying to build new ways to bring fan interaction into our show. If you're new to our show, yes, this is the Voiceland. I'm Kevin Arnold. He's always positive. Jay, the voice you hear in the background that you'll never see the face of, he's kind of our humanoid AI system. What Jarvis was to Iron Man, Peter Tellep is, as we call him, audio to the Voiceland.
Who he is, but you kind of like seen what he looks like. If you ever seen The Matrix with all the numbers, that's kind of cool.
The character is, as much as I know maybe Peter doesn't like it, it's kind of perfect in our logo. I mean, I think it suits him. But Jay,
I like it.
I have to ask you and Peter and everyone out there that is tuning in. This is going back to the title of this show. Do you think that this Flacco fever is sustainable enough, and Stefanski's ability to bring this team through adversity is enough with everything that is going on, as deep and much deeper and deeper that we're getting? Can it overcome all of that and put this team in a position to still contend if and when they get to the playoffs?
For sure. I truly believe it. Like, this team, everyone's like, oh, it's going to be the same old Browns. No, this is not the same old Browns. Something's different. They're overcoming everything. And I think it is making them better in a way. Like, it's making them believe, like, we can do anything. And they have that mentality. And Joe Flacco is just like the unreal perfect fit. He reminds me of Rich Gannon when he joined with the Raiders late in his career, and he's just clicking. And he's at the he's at the end of his career, but dude, like, it's not always a bad thing, because his arm talent, you're watching it, we have eyes. Mm-hmm. That arm is flinging it. So if the arm talent's still there, and he's an old vet, he's just got boatloads of knowledge in his head. So the game is just ridiculously slower for him. Like, look at how he's performing just joining this team. If we could just keep going, like, he's just going to get better. He's just going to get better. I believe the offense has a chance to start carrying the team more. I think the defense is as you can see, it's not going to be as dominant as it was. But now they're getting turnovers instead of like shutting teams down with yards and stuff. They're getting key turnovers at points. Like, Greg Newsome stepped up this week after a pretty bad week the week before. And Emerson Island now, he had 2 great picks. Like, you don't always have to have a statistically great game defensively if you get turnovers. It's the great equalizer, Kevin.
Well, you brought up an interesting point, and I want to touch on it on the other side of the break. The offense, you think, could, and I want to hear why the offense could start leading the way instead of this defense for this team as we go down the stretch of the final 4 games. So we'll keep talking Browns. I do want to get into the Draymond conversation, because this is just absolutely ridiculous, and I got stuff to get off my chest. We'll try to have some fun. We'll talk everything else we've missed over the last week. This is the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land. Grainy camera and all on my end. Jay, always positive Jay, joining me. I'm Kevin Arnold. Jay in his man cave. Mine is just starting to get set up. I don't have a great camera. I probably need to do these remote shows with my phone instead of the computer or the other laptop that we have. It's just my name comes up on the Zoom and it throws me off as my wife's name, not mine. is what it is. We try to be professional as much as we can. We get off the rails, and we're just about to. But Jay, went to break. We were talking Browns. Of course, tonight we would love to just be talking Flacco, and we talked a little bit about him, but the injuries just continue to mount up. But you brought up an interesting point, and I don't even know if you even noticed it when you did it, but you kind of said that you have this sense that the offense might start leading the way more so than the defense. Not that the defense will fall off a great deal, but that we're going to see the offense kind of being that catalyst for this team. Why do you say that?
I think Flacco fits very well in Stefanski's offense. He's a different quarterback, and he's definitely just a pocket passer, but he's got great pocket awareness or whatever. But he's just calm. He's got a calming effect on the entire offense. He's extremely accurate, and he's got a deep ball. Like, they're letting him throw it deep, where the other guys, they were just like, everything's underneath, and they're like, this team is just buying into Joe Flacco. That's why the town has got Flacco fever. And yeah, another thing that I heard him say is he was talking about like how his kids are watching now, and now they have like an appreciation where they could actually understand the game, and it's like being a kid to him again. Like, everything's new to him, like it's fresh, it's invigorating to him. And just Flacco's playing with a whole new kind of passion and love for the game, and he's having fun. And when you're having fun, anything's possible in that league.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like the Major League Baseball, right? When you have a team that has just been crap all year, and then at the end of the season, they know they're out of it, and they're out there having fun. And the fact that I think that, Joe, if you think about it, really, it's ridiculous that Joe Flacco is here and doing as well as he's. I mean, if someone would have told me at the beginning of the season, hey, you know what, we're going to finish the year with Joe Flacco as the quarterback of the Browns and be in contention to, not only for the playoffs, but I mean, we're a game behind Baltimore. I don't know. Are we
I want to say two. If the Rams would have done to us what
they did,
they would have done that to the Ravens, then we would be one game behind, and they wouldn't have let that punt return that had several penalties on it. Officiating's bad all across the league. That would take a whole show to talk about that. But the Rams didn't do us
any favors.
So I think they're 10-3 while we're 8-5.
Okay.
So, there's that 2 games in both columns right now. So it would take a bit of a slide, a 2 or 3 game slide by the Ravens, and us kind of winning out. I feel like
if they lose 2 AFC games and we win 2 AFC games, or like 3 or whatever, we end up with the same record, we have the tiebreaker because they would have lost more AFC games or something weird.
And we have 3 AFC games left after this week. This will be our last NFC opponent this week against the Bears at home. Because we are talking Flacco still, but I think Flacco, this is Chubba Wubba Hub 24 on YouTube, who chimes in again saying, I think Flacco is perfect for Kevin. Just seems like they see eye to eye, and Flacco fully understands Kevin and what he is looking for in his scheme. And it is. Like, I heard all of the beat writers, wherever, on all of their different networks, it was kind of a similar thought process, similar take, in that Kevin Stefanski was going to be giddy about having Flacco back there because he does open up when he wants to do, and he wants to throw the ball more. You can argue that he needs to run the ball more, and there was moments that happened last week, but it's not this egregious thing against Kevin Stefanski like in the past, because there's a guy back there that you can trust that's going to go the right direction with the ball. And when he doesn't, and his kids ask him, why did you throw that ball to Cedric Tillman when it wasn't even open and it turns into an interception? He's taking ownership of it, but you feel it. Like, you feel him taking ownership of it, of him reflecting as if he's metaphorically looking himself in the mirror, taking stock of what he did wrong, taking responsibility. I think even Grant Delpit in the locker room today said that, Stefanski's a player's coach because he takes accountability first. He's the first one to do that. If the coach is doing that, then the players need to do that, and they need to step up for a guy that is putting them in a lot of positions to win. And if, you know,
we didn't hurry up and get rid of a coach and his philosophy kind of kicked in and got a culture built. Huh.
Right. And so back to the, you know, this original question, like Kevin Stefanski's the leader of this offense, and will they lead the way? There's definitely a chance. But it's going to take this defense keeping this team in games because, you know, I think that it's not going to be like you're going to be able to run up the score every time. Like you might have quarters where you score a bunch of points. Last week, the best thing that I saw when I opened up the app, I had to look up a couple stats and helping out with the broadcast behind the scenes, being on one of the stations that runs the game, had to start getting some things together. And I saw that box score, like how they put it up on the screen. When you're going to the fourth quarter, you see, you know, who scored what in each quarter, or it's 5 minutes left and they show you that. It was late in the fourth quarter. The Browns had a 7 in each of the 4 quarters. So while it looked like they were struggling at times and the offense went away and the punter had to come out, hit a 69-yard punt, but Jorquez probably should have got that game ball instead of Justin Hopkins in the locker room.
As a soccer guy, dude, how awesome was that to you? That punt.
I mean, I wish I could see it. Like I had to cut the highlight and I didn't see the TV that's on delay behind the. That's the thing. Like I'm listening to the radio and it's great when whoever's calling you, but more so when Jim Donovan's calling in because you get the picture. But, you know, if something big happens, I'm cutting the highlight. I got the TV above me. It's way behind, but I still can't even catch it sometimes because, you know, you got to make sure that the highlight is right. This defense is still going to have to be able to make plays.
And here's why. When the Browns play pretty much whoever, who's the best player on that field?
Myles Garrett.
Yes. And that's why our defense will it'll carry us at times. But there will be times our offense will carry us and we won't be. It's a good thing if you're not leaning on one side or the other. You're just good on both sides. And our special teams, we're playing complementary football, Kevin. And that's how you're winning with all these injuries.
That is weird to say in the same sentence as the Browns. Usually it's Browns.
Totally weird, dude. I was so happy to say that. I was like, wait, we're doing it. We're doing it. Oh my God.
Browns don't play complementary football. That's always what we've said. We need complementary football. But the Browns are. And that's the biggest thing. That's why you don't have to. It doesn't have to look sexy. It doesn't have to have these big, wide open plays. Whether, you know, even a flag being called, throwing it to Travis Kelce, dropping it back to Kadarius Toney, Patrick Mahomes running out of the pocket, Jalen Hurts running around in that pocket and stuff. It doesn't have to look great. You know what matters at the end? Did we score more than the other team? And we have 8 times this year with the potential to add to that. I would say 2 or 3 more times, not just once. I see 2 or 3 more wins out there for this team because that's who they are. I don't know if this adversity and all these injuries are going to catch up to them until, you know, we get into January football. I think that this team is that confident, and whoever they put in there, they find a way to utilize that person's skills the right way, and whatever deficiencies they have, I'm not saying they hide them. They cover them up and they only use them in certain situations.
I'll say this much. And I don't think this is going to happen, but if these injuries just catch up and they just fall apart more or less, like, I'm not going to be mad at them whatsoever, dude. Like, this team fought so hard.
But you know what's going to happen in this town if that happens.
I don't know what happens, and most people say that's why I'm saying it now. Like, I will look so forward to the next season. Like, I won't be like shattered. I'll be like, dude, I mean, they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, but you can only take so much. At one point, it gives. Right now, it hasn't. It's been like a testament again to what Kevin Stefanski and his coaching staff has done.
It is, and he's putting together Coach of the Year type resume right now. Like, slowly but surely, just like the tortoise and the hare, probably worst analogy you can give, but the turtle beat the bunny, even though the bunny was faster, because slow and steady wins the race. Yes, it's a 17-game season. It looks more condensed than any other professional sport. But it still spans across 3 to 5 months. And the physical toll that it takes on your body, not just to play in the games, but to get up for practice, go through all those meetings, the work week into a game, and then the physical toll a game takes on you itself. I mean, it feels like you're playing more than just 16, 17 games. And if you get the opportunity to go further, that's just more wear and tear on the body. And humans aren't supposed to be able to handle that. These guys have put themselves in a position, all athletes, no matter what sport they play, men's, women's side, they put themselves in a position physically and mentally to go through it. And those that have it the strongest and can go the longest, as this team is starting to say, I've heard that phrase in the locker room, who was the toughest? Who was the toughest the longest in the game? That's what Kevin Stefanski asks every time after a win, you see that victory locker room. And that's becoming the Browns because they're through all adversity. That's adding more to the mental prep, the mental toughness that they already train on throughout the season and in the offseason. And they're trying to keep their bodies as right as possible. There's a lot of injuries, unfortunately. But this team...
It's fun. This has been fun.
It's fun because guess what? We don't have to talk about someone's off-the-field issues. We don't have to, talk about why is this guy not meshing with this guy or anything like that. This is just a team going out there embodying what the city of Cleveland is all about. And that's what we've always asked for.
This city really is, this team is really what the city is, dude. It really is.
How many knocks do we take? And even if it's just like people making comments about this city or, things that we just have to go through as a mid-market town.
We won 5 Super Bowls, I think, this year. Because every time we get a win, it's our Super Bowl. That tired take, but I'm down. Do we get rings? Do we get trophies? Anything?
I don't know. I mean, again, those are kind of like moral victories, and we've started to say like we don't want moral victories anymore. But this season is really putting an exception to that rule. It's just the trophies that the individual awards. What was that?
In football, because there's not enough games, you have to enjoy in every win you get, man. Like baseball, you got a series, you got to almost kind of enjoy the series. Did you win the series? Oh, I lost 1 out of 2, but the next one you won 2 out of 3. It's different. Like football is a different
war of attrition.
One per week.
It's a war of attrition, and the Browns are a microcosm of all of that right now. What they've gone through. And I saw someone put a video out and said, didn't mention Kevin Stefanski by name. He said, what if I told you, kind of like a 30 for 30 entrance, what if I told you that a coach in the NFL lost his starting quarterback that's paid a lot of money and lost a top 2 running back and has had the best player in all the NFL dinged up for half the year and has 14 players on injured reserve. And that team was 8-5, with still a chance to win their division, top of the wild card standings, with winnable games down the stretch that can go down 14 points in games and still come back and have that mental fortitude. You would say that coach should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. Well, let me tell you, and I'm paraphrasing what this guy said, kind of quoting him, kind of not. I don't remember the name. I think someone like repurposed it or reposted it. The TikTok name was kind of blurred out, so I didn't know who it was. So I'm sorry I can't give actual credit, but this is not my take. This is someone else saying it. I'm sure people have seen it on social media. People would say that guy, that coach, should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. We're starting to get to that point. But again, there's still 4 games left. I'm not saying if knock on wood, and I'm literally at a wood desk, a wood pallet desk right now, and I'm knocking on that wood. You can hear it. If the Browns were to have all of this adversity catch up with them, Kevin Stefanski has still earned a contract extension here and should be the coach because he has established a culture here. And I know that this team will put in the work, as they talk about all the time, to figure out, well, we trust our medical staff and all of that, but why not only are we, but all these other teams going through so many injuries that are ending guys' seasons? What do we need to do? How can we carve a path to, making sure that that's not a problem the next year? Excuse me. Kevin Stefanski is definitely the coach that we want to see moving forward. Like, anybody that wants to, if you want to criticize him, you don't like him, you just want your take to be right that he needs to be fired from the start of the year. I mean, I might have been thinking he was on the hot seat. I'm willing to change my mind because the person is showing me. He's not telling me, he is showing me. That's where I'm at, Jay.
His play calling used to annoy me to no extent. Maybe
there's still some
decisions to go with it that weren't.
There's still some wacky plays and stuff, but
he's learning from. I'm watching the dude learn from a lot of mistakes he's made in the past that he's not doing anymore. He's got a kicker he trusts, and wow, he ain't going for it on fourth and whatever all the time in the red zone. He's letting the dude kick his field goals. He didn't used to do that before. Maybe it was probably because he didn't have a good kicker. But one thing I'm glad we're not going to get into is who's better than who from someone that was injured and that's playing now, and why, and all that. Because guess what, guys? That's in the past. That dude's hurt. I don't care. Go, get better. Do what you got to do. This is our guy now. I'm worried about the now. I ain't comparing that with whoever's hurt. That's ridiculous talk. I'm sorry.
It is. And I wasn't even going to allude to it. Somewhat part of me, to do our job the right way, I'm glad that you did. That, like, we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. All I'll say is, really, all this is more evidence to that guy, to Deshaun Watson. We can say his name. To Deshaun Watson about what Kevin Stefanski is capable of. And with you being younger and more athleticism, and when you get healthy, like, this is what it can look like, and he'll get you in the right position. I'm not saying he didn't trust Kevin Stefanski or anything like that. It's just sometimes taking that step back, and in the step back that Deshaun is now, because all he's back focusing on is his career, and we're focusing on the football player. Sometimes you get a chance to take a step back, no matter where you sit in the stadium. Not getting into that either. So stupid. But no matter where you sit, you take that step back. It gives you a little bit more perspective, gives you a little bit more hunger. And I think whether people think that he's just resting on his contract or not, that's a dude that wants to play. And he was putting his body through a lot to play. And he showed that toughness. This is what your coach is willing to do for you for a team that shows that kind of toughness mentally and physically. That hunger is going to drive him. And I think we're going to get better versions of that. Comparing all of that and rust and all of that, ridiculous. We're done.
I don't
not
know
happening.
Deshaun Watson's even ever had a veteran quarterback to learn from, really. And that's good stuff for a quarterback, dude. You always want someone you can learn from. And you're seeing you ain't got to play hero ball and make something out of nothing every single time. It's good to throw it out of bounds sometimes and just play for the next play. Hit your check downs. And when you got your spots and they give it to you, you take your shots. And that's what Flacco's doing. And he's seeing it. He's like, okay, this is what I got to do. And that's what we could hope for. That's all I'm going to talk about with the guy getting back to compare.
And this is not a knock against Watson, but he has always been in a position where he's successful. In high school, successful. College, went to a great college. And when Clemson was at their peak, he's being called the Michael Jordan of football by his coach. And he comes in the NFL and he's thrust right into it because he's playing on a bad team, trying to turn an organization around, playing right away and having a lot of success and being looked at as that next guy. Well, a lot of adversity has hit him too. He's kind of been knocked down. So he has never been told no or that he's not good. I'm not saying that he's not good, but he's not able to show it right now. that hunger to show that from when he was a younger player and just playing football for the pureness of football. That's what I'm hoping. That's what you hope that is driving Deshaun Watson right now. And the fact that he's around the team and still continues to help lead and was helping lead DTR, that shows you more about the person than it does, Flacco's able to come in without, again, not getting into it. The Browns are in a good position. It's fun. It sucks to talk about all these injuries. It's more you feel bad for the team and the organization than it is anything else. Look, you can live tweet games and criticize people here and there. Make sure you take in the whole picture of what's going on throughout the season and throughout the whole game. Browns win, Browns lose. Look at the whole game, not just, and it's not always just one moment or whatever. Take it all in, then express how you're feeling. We're in a better position this season, and hopefully, knock on wood, little magic continues on the lakefront. And let's go get the Bears on Sunday. On the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears, though. Got to talk a little NBA. We won't talk Cavs. I'll tell you why.
Are you talking NBA or boxing? I wasn't sure. A little MMA or NBA?
Well, we'll find out on the other side. This is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land here on the Big Play Network. I am Kevin Arnold. You can follow me at Kevin7 as the name bar says. It's not up there anymore, but it usually comes up on the bottom. If you're watching us, if you're just tuning in to the audio, you turn it on your device and you just have the audio in the background, or you listen to the podcast version of this on replay on Google, Spotify, or Apple. Thank you so much. And if you tune in live, the other side of town, not just the desk this evening, is always Positive J and Peter Tulip, our producer extraordinaire. Along the way, we've been talking a lot about the Browns. We only have an hour, though, so, we could spend a whole hour on the Browns. I'm not going to do that. There's other things to talk about. I said we're going to talk NBA. I didn't say we're going to talk Cavs. It's not because I'm upset with them or frustrated. I think since that Trailblazer game, Jay, I think we've seen better effort. They're dealing with a lot of injuries right now, and there's less guys on the floor. So when you don't have those kind of numbers to have depth like they added this offseason, it's kind of tough to overcome that. Even when you got Donovan Mitchell going for 29, Darius Garland going for 26 in Boston. Boston's 13-0 at home. Like, it's on the second night of a back-to-back. No, I don't want to see them go on a losing streak. But look, as long as the effort's there, I can handle a night where you go 7-41 from three, which sucked against the Magic. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
That sucked against the Magic. But look, you lose by 10. Magic are a good team this year, as much as people don't want to say that. They're actually a good team. They put the right young players together and the right coach behind them to get those younger players to believe and actually play well against better opponents. So these last two games, it sucks to lose back-to-back games, and now it feels like to get back on track, almost a must-win in Boston tomorrow night. This whole you got to play the a 2-game series in 3 days type thing is what it is. They want to reduce travel. Okay. I'm not upset by it because I'm seeing the effort I want to see. just not seeing that final execution yet. And they're just not able to gel and mesh because different guys are out different nights. It's not an excuse, but if we're going to talk injuries, like injuries are a real thing in all sports. And, the Browns are kind of the exception. Having success with that many injuries doesn't always happen. Cavs kind of suffering from it. And that's to nobody's fault. It's just, can you squeak by some wins until you get everybody back? We will see. Jay, there is a story going on in the NBA right now, though, that it needs to go away. And I mean, he needs to go away. He did get suspended indefinitely. We are talking about Draymond Green. If you did not see it, he did, yes. And that I did see that earlier in the first segment. I didn't want to break in with that because I was trying to keep us on track, trying to drive the show tonight.
All right. So
he was suspended indefinitely, which is exactly what should have happened. Now there's no timetable on that. What does indefinitely mean? You're getting into many different options there.
The rest of the year, you could be done tomorrow.
Right. So it's all going to be, league reviews with Adam Silver and talking with the Golden State Warriors and Draymond Green. But if you didn't see it, Draymond Green last night playing against the Phoenix Suns, he was trying to fight through and post up on Yusuf Nurkic. Yes, Yusuf Nurkic is now with the Suns, not in Portland. And they were jostling for position. And as Draymond Green went to try to whirly bird his way out of Nurkic's grasp, he purposefully, and I say purposely, Draymond Green will not say this, but he wound up and literally punched Nurkic in the face. Mind you,
he did worse. He did like a 360 spinning back punch, dude. And
what would be considered John Cena's sixth move?
I used to hit a punching bag, and I used to practice a spinning punch.
Yeah,
dude, you could really hurt someone doing that. It hurts. That had to hurt. Dude, he's just dirty, man. I'm so sick of this dude. Ever since the LeBron crotch kick, and everyone's like, "Oh, he shouldn't have been suspended." Dude, you probably should have been suspended longer. Why does he keep getting away with this stuff? I'm glad he's suspended indefinitely, and I hope it's a good while because I'm so sick of this dude. His behavior is ridiculous. This is the NBA. This is not the MMA.
I disagree with you in a sense that he's a dirty player. He's not just a dirty, there's dirty players in the league. This is worse. I only disagree because I think it's worse. And I don't know what that word is. It might but this dude, I know Stephen A talked about it, alluding to, you may have problems or whatever. Draymond Green's got to figure all that out. And if there are issues, whatever it might be, you hope the best for a human being to find that, find that inner peace, find that right path. But Draymond Green just came off of a 5-game suspension after choking out Rudy Gobert playing against the Minnesota Timberwolves. These are happening more and more with Draymond Green. He's that guy that finds a way to do these things and yet make it look like it wasn't intentional. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. No, shame on, wait, what is it?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
There it is. Even I get it wrong. I know President Bush got it wrong as well. Shame me once, whatever.
Shame on you.
So, yeah, shame on me for being a host and not really knowing that phrase. It's been a long day, guys. But, you can only do it so much. You can only cry wolf so much, trying to play the victim in these situations. And that's what he's done on podcasts and being on TV. He might be caught by doing all of this. He might even be costing himself that career after basketball.
No.
Because
Nope.
There will always,
dude. He's gonna have it, dude. I don't want him to. I don't want it to happen, Kevin.
Yeah, he might be on the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett thing or the Gilbert Arenas thing where they just get to spew whatever they want, say whatever words that they want. Absolutely ridiculous.
Charles Barkley threw a dude through a window, Kevin.
I understand, but like even former players are having issues with what he's doing because this is happening on the court. And it's not just like one instance here, one instance there. And like Charles Barkley may have had, level of behavior and stuff. But look, he might be costing himself those things in my eyes because Turner's not going to want a guy like you're going to break down a game and where a guy got ejected for some sort of move. Like you're going to trust Draymond Green to now break down that highlight? No, I'm not going to trust him to do anything.
Him thrown out the NBA. He's going to get in trouble and thrown out or just suspended and he'll quit or whatever. He'll get his job. And just like he did in the NBA, instead of with his being physical, he'll use his mouth to keep pushing it, and he'll get himself kicked off the air, just like he'll get himself kicked off the court.
Yeah, unless he looks himself in the mirror. Like that is a detriment to the game of basketball. That player
Curry needs to check that, dude. Steve Kerr need to check him.
I mean, you want to, I think you can question the leadership of that entire team. Yeah, I know that they won 4 championships.
Dude punched Superman punched his own teammate in the face. Like, my God, what is wrong with you, man?
Like, how many times can you come to the guy's back? Like, this is a guy that's taking shots, like you just said, at your own team. He
literally cost his team a championship. Thank you, by the way. But
I'm not trying to go like hot take and stuff and really come at Draymond because, of course, sometimes that gets misconceived as personal attacks and everything. Like for a human being, if there's some sort of issue, like I wish the best for people. I am someone, and I will be open and honest about it. I work on my mental health. I go to therapy. I didn't like where it was. I admitted that I had some sort of problem. I don't know if Draymond has a problem, and I'm not going to just assume or lay that upon him that he has an issue. In general, I hope that people that go through difficult times and have difficult things going on in their life and within themselves get the help that they need. I wish the best of health for everybody. But we're looking at the game. We're looking at this from a sports perspective. This is our escape from real life when real life does a great job of, giving you those reality checks. From a sports standpoint, this is absolutely ridiculous. He has been overrated his whole career. He is a single triple or a triple single in my eyes. He was never a triple double type of guy like people thought he was going to be coming out of Michigan State. He gets you 9 points and 8 rebounds and maybe 6 assists. Great. There's single digits across the board. That's average basketball. His 3-point shot, his jumper is one of the worst looking shots I've ever seen in my life. His defense has been overrated. He got away with some of this stuff in the past because referees just assumed it was because he's such a great defender. No, he's an average basketball player at best. And he rode the coattails of the Splash Brothers and Kevin Durant to 4 championships. And now he is suffering the consequences that he should because finally the NBA community had enough. It's been long enough. And unfortunately, it had to take an incident like that. And I hope that Nurkic is okay because, those bones in the face bones in general. You don't want to see a guy having to put on a mask or having some sort of issue like that. That was a terrible, terrible look for Draymond Green and the NBA. And I'm glad the NBA stepped in and did something. Maybe it's because the pressure being put on him, but hey, if it takes that, so be it. Consequences need to be suffered when we all suffer them. These guys are in a bigger limelight. But if you make a mistake, as much as people deserve second and third chances as human beings, and we all make mistakes, you still have to suffer the consequences. What do you do from those consequences? That's a question that Draymond's going to have to answer, and answer to the league, his teammates, colleagues, and himself. With that, we hit our final break of the night. This is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back one final time tonight on the Voice Land on the Big Play Network. We're going to go quick because Always Positive Jay, who's on the other side of town right now, didn't realize his phone was dying. So that's the only disadvantage to the use of the phone versus this grainy, terrible camera that I have here tonight on my computer. I don't know why. I tried to clean it several times. Is what it is. I'm sorry to those that have had to watch this tonight and it's all distorted. Real quick, though, we're going to, just as an update for the show, because we're getting into, some of the holiday time. We already have Hanukkah going on, other holidays coming up. We are still going to do a show next week. We're still going to do a show the week leading into New Year's. If any vacations or anything family-wise changes that, we'll make sure to post on our social media sites that we're not going live. But the plan, and correct me if I'm wrong, you two, plan
You're
is
wrong.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. You said it so convincingly. I just thought I was wrong. Yes, we will have a show next week leading into the holidays. We'll probably have a fun segment around that. Don't really want to do that right now. But a lot of good stuff tonight. The main focus right now, as it should be, Browns in a good position, 8-5, sitting 5th in the AFC, have a game against the Bears. It's not as easy as people think.
Can you just say that again, please? One more time. If it sounded good. What position?
Browns are 8-5. They're sitting 5th, the top wild card spot in the AFC. Playing against the Bears this week, a chance to go to 9-5. Not going to be as easy of a game as people think. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. Bears playing with confidence, won 3 of the last 4. They're still in the hunt for a wild card spot in the NFC. The Lions not playing good football in their own division. So things up for grabs there. Look, as much adversity as this team has been through, the NFL is not forgiving. I don't know what the L would be in that, but NFL not forgiving of these circumstances. You still have to go play a game, and the goals for the main core, Myles Garrett, hopefully Denzel Ward is back. Now, Joe Flacco at the helm. You still have David Njoku out there. Amari Cooper battles through injuries.
We really need Ward back, dude. Because DJ Moore is a handful, man.
And he's dealing with an ankle injury right now. He did not participate in practice today for the Bears, but something to look for. You don't necessarily have to practice on Wednesday to be ready for the game, but we'll see how that ankle injury progresses and who else the Browns maybe be able to get back and up to speed for the game on Sunday. That is going to wrap it up for this edition of the Voice of the Land. We'll get Jay out of here before his phone dies. For Always Positive Jay and his dying phone, Peter Tellup, our AI system behind the scenes producer extraordinaire. I'm Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans out there, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all, 3,000.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. And charge your phones.
And live life. All gas, no brakes. We will be back next week at 8 p.m. right here on the Big Play Network. This is the Voice of the Land.